And Mark is such a good looks as well. Like, that's the perfect matchup in that bottom lane. So, yeah, LGD's drafts haven't gone their way. The Ashe ban coming through from JDG. I like this. I think LGD had learned from their mistakes and kind of gone, right, we're going to take this Ashe, at least give us one winning matchup. But now with that gone, you can see they're not sure where they want to take this.
Well, we're going to see this Twisted Fate first pick. This is kind of a signature of LGD at this point. And it's good to see smiles still on the faces of these players on LGD. It doesn't feel like they took that Game 2 loss too heavily. We even saw Peanut walking off the stage earlier, giggling away after that defeat in number 2. But now JDG over to their side of the draft. Looks like they may consider a first pick Jhin.
So we'll lock in the Jhin, so trying to get at least a matchup in the bottom lane that can push pretty aggressively for Loken, and definitely now we're going to see if we can get more damage-orientated junglers coming the way from Kanavi, because most of the time when we see this Jhin, it's locked in with something that can provide a little bit of CC, or sorry, the Jhin will provide the CC to set up for a damaged jungler, and when you've got the Graves, the Nidalee band away, Kindred is potentially the port of call here for Kanavi, as Peanut will hover the Lilia, maybe does get locked in here, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, the thing is with the Twisted Fate in the mid lane, you've got double AP damage. We have seen it paired with the Galio in the mid lane though, so perhaps something JDG could go for. And it could be something LGD go for just to try and deny that pick away from Kanavi, because in the second round of bans, we could well see a lot of jungle bans once again.
And this is where I want to see them go towards a... I honestly think a support pick. I think trying to get something strong for yourself in that bottom lane to pair alongside the Ezreal could work super well. But it looks like they're eyeing up the likes of this Renekton now. Longxing, a very prolific Renekton player, has a heap of games under his belt, sitting at 12. But when I look at this composition from LGD, where you want to be trying to use this Twisted Fate to get someone ahead, you've got an Ezreal in the bottom lane who can't really work very well with that engage tool, and you've got the Renekton who's going to fall off, especially Zoom playing this Gnar. Zoom has picked this twice now into this Renekton matchup, taken grasp of the Undying, and just smacked around this lane.
Yeah, he gets an easy lane matchup there on the Gnar. So far, so good when it comes to those lane matchups, because you've got a winning top, we've got a neutral mid.
And look at the wombo combo you just set up for JDG as well. If you get that big Gnar ult into the likes of this Galio, you've even got something like this Jhin to start facilitating a little bit of that setup when it comes to the CC. So overall, JD Gaming's setup for team fights is super strong right now.
So now towards the bans from the side of JDG, they banned away that Lilia, just in case Peanut did want to go for that one. And it's going to be a Leona banned away, so not just going to focus in on the jungle quite as hard as they did in the last game. And I'm curious what LGD deem the most important thing to take off the board here.
I imagine they'll still be going down towards that support role, or they could go towards the jungle. I think either way, though, it's not going to be looking too pretty for them. Kanavi here can go towards something like the Kindred. You've got that double AD carry, which is super potent, but it looks like they're actually going to instead opt into going for the counter jungle pick. I still would have preferred, I think, to see the jungler locked in. You guarantee a good jungle matchup going towards something like the Kindred, or even if you wanted to, the Lee Sin for Kanavi, and then instead you can hold off on this counter support pick and give yourself a nice bot lane matchup.
So it looks like the Kindred might be the option here for LGD, as they're going to be the first ones to have to lock in a jungler. I don't mind too much that JDG are going to go for the counter pick in the jungle, since Kanavi has been the MVP in both Game 1 and Game 2. Giving him a bit of priority in this draft makes a bit of sense. I'm
just surprised that Kanavi didn't go for it, because, as we talked about, winning top lane matchup already. When you've got that Jhin against Ezreal, you've got a pushing bot lane matchup as well for JDG. They could have gone in for these early invades once again and set up for Kanavi to get these marks and get himself set up for success, but I'll be curious to see what he decides to lock in now. Over on the LGD side, rounding out their composition with this Braum. Very weak bot side for LGD, so I'll be expecting Kanavi to try and play pretty heavily down towards that side, especially when you're able to set up Loken so well for success with these long-range deadly versions.
So we have JDG with some winning lanes across the board here, aside from maybe a neutral mid lane, but Kanavi brings out the Lee Sin instead of Peanut this time around, and it's Peanut on the Kindred instead. So a bit of a change of pace in the jungle. Kanavi definitely has some lanes that he can get in and influence.
I mean, he's got both side lanes he can work with. Even if you can get Yagao to close the gap on towards Xie, you've got a great setup there. So again, JDG have 3 lanes they can play around. But when I look over at LGD side, weak bottom side that they can't really try and facilitate the likes of this Kindred with. The mid lane matchup, as we've seen already, Xie struggles to really get to grips with. And then a losing top lane. This Kindred, again for Peanut, doesn't look like it's got too many ways to facilitate and set up this Kindred for success.
I have to see if the junglers can be set up, or more specifically, if Peanut can be set up. Because Kanavi, he seems to set himself up. He doesn't seem to need that much help from the rest of his team. But now as we head into game number 3, you can see that there's grins on both sides of the board. And I think LGD are, you know, can they come in with good attitude into game number 3? They're going to need to if they want to pull themselves back in this series. But I'm keeping my eyes on the jungles once more. That was the head-to-head we were talking about coming into the series. It's Peanut against Kanavi. And right now it feels like Kanavi, he's the one that has the edge in this jungle matchup.
JDG 加油！勇者无畏，愈战愈强，希望你们打出好成绩。LGD 加油！
Ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping onto Summoner's Rift for game number 3 of our second LPL Summer 2020 semi-final. And for JDG, a win here guarantees them their ticket to the World Championship, something they have been striving for and been denied at the last hurdle 2 years in a row. This is their moment to make their way onto the world stage, and LGD, the last hurdle that they have to defeat in order to make it.
And LGD now, with their backs against the wall, are looking again at this mid-jungle 2v2, seeing if they can unlock Xie from this mid lane. If you can get this early setup for Peanut, where a level 3 gank with Xie going for a gold card, they can put down Yagao, start to unlock Xie, and maybe with these early Destiny plays, they can get the ball rolling in their favor. But if Xie is once again locked into this mid lane battle against Yagao, Peanut will start to lose grips of this game, and JDG can look for those later team fights where they will fall.
There is a very real possibility, though, Dagda, that we don't get later team fights. If it's anything like game number 2 was, there was no such thing as a late game. Yagao struggling a little bit, though, in this mid lane to start us off. But that is typically how this matchup's going to start. Do have a hook coming out from Lumao, who's in trouble. Ignite ticking away as well. Has to flash away, but so does Kramer to follow for first blood. The 2v2 in the bottom side. Braum is too strong, and now Kramer could be in trouble himself because Kanavi's arrived, and they're looking to turn around the play. Mark will walk away with his life, but it's a 1-for-1.
It's a 1-for-1. Both kills go 80 carries, but it's JDG's Loken who gets to stay in this bottom lane. He can push in this wave, deny some of those creeps from Kramer, and back and get himself a nice item. Peanut, though, respecting the fact that Kanavi's on the bottom side, will steal away the red buff for himself.
Nice play out of Peanut to capitalize on this one in the meantime. Kanavi's moved to the mid lane. We could have a 3v2 as Xie going to be taunted up. There's the Sonic Wave coming on in. Flash still available, followed on up. But now they're going on to the jungler. Instead, it's going to be a kill going the way of Peanut. And LGD may be finding themselves on the board here. Gold card comes on out. Peanut dodges the Sonic Wave. It's going to be Lumao going down surely, but Peanut has to flash. Second kill going the way of Xie now as Kanavi continues the fight. Yagao teleports back in, but he's stunned by the gold card, stunned by the concussive blows. Zoom's arrived on the play, forcing the flash out from Mark. There's a kill for Kanavi as well. And it looks like it's a 3-for-2 in the end.
Can't stop, won't stop in this series. Already we get battles in the early stages, but LGD come out on top with Peanut having that level 3, that 1 level advantage over Kanavi, and full array of his arsenal available. He's able to get that fight slightly in favor of LGD, get himself the Scuttle Crab and the red buff to boot.
Fantastic that we get to see LGD answering in the early game this time. They don't just falter in the same way. Now with a 1,000 gold lead, but the one slight fly in the soup on the side of LGD here is the fact that for JDG, Kanavi got both of those early kills, and he's been the guy that ran away with both the previous games.
And especially when you're looking at the combatants that were in that battle, Kanavi, Yagao, and Lumao, I would prefer them to go to Kanavi because, as you said, Kanavi can have the best impact when we look around the map. The only thing is, Peanut picked up quite a lot on that last fight as well. You can see he's just finished his jungle item. He also got a mark on that invade, so he's really starting to ramp up himself And when we talked about Peanut needing to get the ball rolling, especially in this game with the way that his wave state or his lane states are, that's a pretty big win for LGD.
Oh, Zoom finding himself an extended trade on the top side. Is obviously going to have the grasp of the Undying, so he can just whittle away at Lanxing, but also build himself some tanky stats for later on.
So we're starting to hit the point where, if you look towards Xie,
we've got a play on the bottom side of the map here. Kanavi trying to find himself the Grom. Would be a stack for Peanut. He's going to be able to find it with a smite. Nicely done here. And great from Mark to roam up as well.
I'm looking at Xie in this mid lane though. Twisted Fate at this point in time wants to back. This 5 minute to 5:30 mark is where he wants to get full health, get full mana, and then hit level 6 to influence these side lanes. Right now though, Xie is sticking around. Yeah, Gao taken very low underneath the turret, and he's actually the one who's forced to back.
Yeah, both mid laners are going to have to recall. CS advantage certainly going to be in favor of Xie, and the same with the XP advantage as well, because Yagao still level 4 and losing a hefty wave to that tower as well. In the meantime, on the bottom side of the map, it's definitely going in favor of Loken and Lumao when it comes to the CS.
And we expected this. We said already this is a pretty poor matchup when you look towards both the Ezreal and the Braum. Ezreal renowned for, hey, I kind of suck in lane because I need to get a tier, I need to go for some of these less offensive items, and Braum as well, not able to push out very well.
We've got a root down, it's coming on to Mark, and he is gone from the play. Loken able to pick up the kill, and it is as simple as that for JDG.
And you can see Yagao even hovering down in case some shenanigans happen, but LGD coming to grips with Kanavi and that early lead that he managed to pick up.
Kramer going to try and trade a little bit as Peanut moves onto the bottom side as well. Loken does have to be a little cautious, but still has his flash and his cleanse, and in the meantime, Kanavi going to start this dragon off. So Peanut, he's got bigger fish to fry.
Xie has hit that level 6 point though, and he's already starting to move, seeing if he could get on towards the like of Kanavi, who's only level 4 here. Smite advantage is the way of Peanut.
Yagao as well, level 5, so that Galio ult won't be available. And that's going to be enough of a signal for JDG that they have to back away from this one. LGD grab themselves the first Drake of the game, and this is a hallmark of LGD. This is what we know the team for.
And this is where they want to start to get the ball rolling. When we look at them in playoffs, they've actually had the best objective of control so far of our playoff teams, with the highest, our second highest dragon control rate in playoffs. Now finally they're starting to get that ball rolling. So maybe this is LGD turning over a new leaf and getting that ball rolling. But Yagao and Lumao want to try and stop that very quickly.
Xie going to be taunted up here. Doesn't have flash available, but the gold card not going to do a whole lot much. Obviously, it is a Galio.
And this is what I want to see from LGD's side. It's Peanut who wants to be trying to get in and unlock Xie. Now, he's doing a good job of stealing away the blue buffs and the like to try and help out, but LGD need to get Lanxing rolling in this top lane, because this Renekton's going to fall off, especially as Zoom starts to get towards these items. Already has the Ninja Tabai there, and his ability to play at range is going to become even worse for Lanxing.
Yeah, once you get something like the Black Cleaver coming on in for Zoom, this matchup only gets worse for Lanxing, and having to use the Dominus there, trying to find an all-in opportunity onto Zoom, but now that just gives all of the advantages to Zoom in the following fights.
And you can see as well, Yagao starting to teeter off towards these top lanes just at the time that Zoom does get his transformation, looking to see if they can set up that wombo combo. So Lanxing needing to take a step back and making sure that he's not getting caught out by these early JDG plays.
So we are getting to the point, though, when both of these mid laners are going to be able to just clear the wave and move away elsewhere on the map. But look at where Kramer and Mark are. They're in the mid lane right now, and that's because Herald is just spawning, and both teams want to try and make a play for this.
Yagao, though, has just backed. He'll be able to come in with the ultimate. Honestly, JDG are looking far stronger right now.
Flashing from Lanxing. It's going to be Xie making a play towards the top side. Zoom cannot get Mega Gnar in time. Jumps away with the flash, but the Ignite comes in at the last second. And Xie grabs his second.
Finally, we see Xie making these proactive plays. Now, LGD can turn back towards this Rift Herald and start to get this early game snowballing. LGD have finally woken up in this series.
This is what we wanted to see. This is what we talked about coming into today. This was the version of LGD that we witnessed against IG, against WE, and now Kanavi's in trouble on the top side of the map. Peanut should be able to close the gap. But in comes Yagao to deny the play. Now on towards Lanxing, who might just have Dominus up in a moment or two. Dragon's Rage is going to be available. It's a kill going the way of Yagao.
And Kramer can't get the snipe off the True Shot Barrage either. So Kanavi now is just managing to escape away, and Angry Kitty is angry.
Yeah, he's going to be upset a little bit about that one. It's going to ruin the tempo somewhat as JDG find themselves a kill. But Xie, hey, at least he finds something. Gets himself a tower plate in the mid lane.
Langxing opting as well towards this Vampiric Scepter. He's going to be going the Blade of the Rune King build. Much better option against someone like Gnar, because the way that Gnar plays this matchup is holding on to his hop, playing at range, making sure you can't get on top of him. That Blade of the Rune King active is going to give you an opportunity to close the gap and try and get onto Zoom while he's in mini Narm form.
That's what they've done to find themselves the first kill in that top side of the map. But let's take a quick moment here to address where the gold is on either of these teams, because it's relatively even across the board. Obviously, there is a 1,000 gold lead in favor of LGD. It's Xie that has 2 kills. Peanut moving towards this top side, though. They really want to bully Zoom.
There's no Yagao ultimate. There's no safety here for Zoom, and he's gone forward.
He's going to have the Mega Knot available, so ultimate could be used if they try and go for a dive here. And he's going to be all right off the back of this one. Does need to back away, though, because Xie's moving in as well. Destiny not available. Herald going to be dropped. Zoom cannot contest this.
LGD are doing a good job of playing around their lane state. So
Zoom, why are you trying to get into this one? Langxing going to get the stun. Now TP coming out from Yagao. That's why he's trying to get in onto this one. Torn onto Langxing as he's the target. They start this fight off with Lamb's Respite to keep himself safe as Kanavi finishes off the Herald. Now back onto the play. Stopwatch used. And LGD, they're the ones with the health bars, and this turret is incredibly low. This is not much of a defense for them. Langxing jumps in and rends through the whole squad. Zoom barely escaping with his life, with a flash forward from Xie. The wild card's dodged by Kanavi, and just about gets out with his life.
LGD picking up the advantages, though. Kills going their way, towers going their way, and now they can look to reset. Peanut is getting rolling on this Kindred, and LGD are coming alive.
And who says they need winning lane matchups when they can just brute force these plays around Zoom, shut down this Gnar, so the extended laning phase can never happen. Zoom can never find the advantage.
And they can continue transferring this advantage in towards the Dragons. A little bit of a late back coming through from Kramer on that bottom side, but it doesn't matter. LGD make this play top. Gold galore going into Xie and Peanut's hands, including Langxing. And you can see how devastating this Renekton is at the early stages. Having that big Cole the Meek just rips through JDG, heals on up the Croc, and slams the door shut on JDG.
And look at Xie's score right now as Loken actually has his back cancelled, which means that this Drake is all but LGD's already now. But Xie is so far ahead in this mid lane. He's got a 20 CS advantage. He's got 3 kills and 2 assists. He's already finished his Rod of Ages at 12 minutes with an Aether Wisp to boot.
Yeah, he's up and rolling very nicely. And this is where LGD now are going to look to put their foot on the ground, making sure they're moving forward in this game. I want to see invades happening. I want to see Peanut getting aggressive, especially if Xie has this Destiny available. Get in towards Kanavi, shut him down, make sure he's not having a good time, and JDG are forced to use these ults like Yagao's defensively, but Mark...
Ooh, good flash out from Mark, but he's going to be followed by Kanavi. Kicked back into the pit. That was a thing of beauty from Kanavi. This kill will go the way of the JDG jungler, and there's no answer across the map from LGD.
Mistake from Mark, but Peanut.
Oh, actually, there is an answer, because Kanavi stepped too far, zooms away, has himself a magic shield as in comes the Galio, knockups galore, and it doesn't matter if you're fed, if you're just battered around the play. Flash forward from Lumao, but he misses the hook. That means Peanut gets out.
Peanut just about getting out, but 2 mistakes from LGD. Mark not respecting where JDG were on the map, especially with a blue handoff. And then we're looking over towards Xie, trying to make that play happen, but over-aggressing, caught in Yagao's ultimate. JDG get a nice gold swing back in their favor.
Now Zoom's moved to the mid lane as well to try and help get some pressure down onto this tower. We are going to look towards the top side of the map though, because Langxing has had some solo time in this top lane. Didn't have teleport available, so he just stayed on the top half of the map. He's grabbed himself a bit of a CS lead and some turret plays.
He's just going to push in this wave though, which JDG can collect, so it's not like JDG lost out on anything for that play. The next big thing that we need to look out for is when Xie's ultimate comes back up, how they can use that to set up plays down towards this bottom side. Right now, LGD would love to be getting some of this gold on towards Kramer. He's been left to the wayward side as Loken and Lumeo have had full control of this. But now is the time to start focusing on Kramer with that Manamune completed and the Sheen quick to follow and getting this Ezreal rolling.
To be fair, being left to the wayside is kind of what Kramer likes. Usually Kramer is the kind of guy that does want to farm up for a good portion of the game and then get into things a little bit later on. And this Ezreal pick suits that style perfectly for him.
Having a quick look at turret plates though, you can see how much went across towards LGD's side. With Yagao trying to respond to those early plays, he's looking at Xie able to get 2 in the mid lane and that full tower going across the top side. So we'll be looking at Longxing, Peanut and Xie to now use that gold lead to start getting more of these towers, more of this gold in their favor. Because mid game is where LGD shine, especially with this Ezreal pick, this Black Cleaver nearly completed for Peanut 2. They want to get this game rolling.
Yeah, the only issue being that mid-game is also when JDG usually shine. Like, for anyone that's new to watching JDG that just saw game number 2, that is not the style that we expect out of JDG. This is a mid-game team-fighting team, and we are entering the mid-game.
However, JDG understand what the game plan is here, and unfortunately for them, they kind of gone right. It's going to be really hard with the state of affairs to set up team fights. So instead, Loken has opted towards this Essence Reaver build. He knows his job is wave clear, and having that extra little bit of mana will help in shoving these waves back from LGD's side.
Zoom under a bit of pressure on this top side of the map because Mark and Peanut moved over there, but they won't be able to close the gap. Zoom had a ward, so he keeps himself completely safe on this one. Loken just moves to the mid lane to clear things up. And when we look at the AD carries specifically here, there is a pretty sizable lead starting to be built up in favor of Loken, despite LGD winning out elsewhere on the map. In terms of AD carries, Loken is significantly ahead.
And we did expect this. Mark, you need to be so careful.
He's going to be the one to face check in, and he's going to be all right on this one. The bot lane tower has already been taken, bear in mind. JDG just wait and see if anyone's bold enough to try and grab that bar.
Looking a bit like musical chairs there, where we end up with Longxing. It's like everybody swap bushes now, as JDG are desperately trying to find these picks, but the wave is pushing out, no one's there to collect, and JDG can't make this pick work.
Kanavi and Yagao there with some emotes like, are they coming? I don't think they're coming. In the meantime, Dragon's going to spawn in 35 seconds. This is what the pick is all about. JDG would love to find someone out of position before this play kicks off. Now Longxing and Peanut moving down. Yagao is the one that has to be careful.
This is something JDG do a lot though. They'll often go for these earlier back timings than the regular LPL teams, so they're on the map to try and make picks right as these objectives spawns. It's how they've been able to secure so many of these early dragons. Not able to make it work there though, and now LGD have the resets, are on the map and ready to fight for this Ocean Drake.
Really great read from LGD to not play for that style here. Now Ocean Drake spawning, and let's bear in mind Ocean Soul, these Drakes are going to be so crucial. Now Dragon going to be started immediately by JDG. They're just going to burst this one out and take it immediately. Goes the way of JDG. That's their first Drake of the game. Flash out from Peanut as he jumps back into the pit once more. Longxing with the Dominus. But out goes the Galio to the rest of his team. JDG just trying to retreat. Great short fissure though. In comes Zoom, knocks everybody back. It's only onto Mark, and he sacrifices his life for it. This is going well as Longxing flashes in, taunted though, and kited out. 2 kills for LGD. They're trying to close the gap. They're trying to finish people off. Xie sprinting away. But Loken is the fast with his boots of mobility. He's going to be able to get towards the rest of his team. JDG still trying to escape as Longxing kicked back out of the play. Xie with a gold card primed with the Justice Punch out to safety.
Kanavi still on the run though. Peanut will chase him in towards this top side. LGD turn their attention towards this mid lane turret, and although they didn't get the dragon, they do get a kill for their trouble.
The Swifties, such a comfort buy on the side of Loken here on the Jhin. It just about got him out. The movement speed from the Zeal helping as well. That was damn close.
Especially with the Nimbus Cloak on the Twisted Fate trying to chase him down. JDG tried to get out of here. Zoom realizes, look, someone's got to sacrifice themselves. I don't think Lumeo realized he was going to be coming in as well, though. But LGD are so far ahead here, I'm surprised that JDG tried to fight. All they wanted to do was stop that dragon going the way of LGD. 1 kill for that is not an issue, but with JDG overcommitting, LGD were able to find a couple more kills in their favor.
Yeah, so it's 2 kills for a dragon, which, when we consider that it's an Ocean Drake, and we consider that that would have been sole point for LGD, I'd say maybe 2 kills is worth it, but it's definitely one of those that's a bit of a toss-up. Depends on your perspective on how
it's just they
important
would have
these
been
dragons
able to get out, right? They didn't need to commit the 2 kills. Zoom with that narrow would have just been able to slam them all back and you run for high heavens. But JDG, it doesn't matter. We're back onto the board. There's only 4k gold, which does kind of suck for JDG, especially as LGD are beginning to ramp up. Iceborne Gauntlet now completed for Kramer with that Cole now finished as well. So he's hit his high point. Lichbane just finished for Xie as well. Black Cleaver for Peanut. LGD, they're going to try and turn this side lane pressure in towards Barons with all these items now popped up.
That's going to be the question, though, is if they can secure those objectives. Because to be fair to LGD, even though they've been behind this series, they've been pretty good at securing the Barons. We saw the steals come through in game number 1. JDG are here to contest. There isn't even a Drake up. I'm not sure what we're all grouping for right now.
It's that bot lane turret. It's the last outer turret set up for JDG still, and JDG doing a good job to defend it by reading the play that LGD were trying to make. Even with Xie on that top side, they're still a bit worried about, okay, where are the members of LGD that are hiding in the darkness?
So for JDG now, with a 4k deficit, this is the first time they're behind in this series. What's the play? How do they find their way back into the game?
Well, for JDG, is trying to hold on to these side lane turrets, but Zoom.
Zoom might be in trouble here, but the Rage Gene will stack incredibly quickly with that Dominus in play. He's going to find a Gnar ultimate, but I mean, it's 1v4. Even a great Gnar ult doesn't do that much.
Yeah, LGD are committing so many members to this bottom lane because their composition is one that thrives with these side lane structures down. They want to be able to push these lanes in and then have these teleports from Xie and Longxing towards the mid lane, catch out JDG. So by LGD getting these structures down now, their power is amplified so much more.
And Zoom is having such a hard time this game. Let's just remember what is on the line for JDG. A win here gets them their ticket to Worlds that they have been denied for 2 years in a row. They got so damn close in 2018, 2019. And Zoom needs to pick up his game a little bit because he has been camped ceaselessly from the side of LGD and he has really struggled to deal with the pressure.
It's good to see LGD managing to do it though, because this was the problem I had in game 1. Xie not able to get out of this mid lane, no real pressure put towards him. This time around though, Xie hit 6. He's battling against Yagao. Solo pushes Yagao out of lane twice, and that opens up for him to go for these plays globally and setting up this early game for LGD.
Feels good to see Peanut on the scoreboard as well, because this entire series, we set it up as Peanut versus Kanavi, kind of early game versus mid game. But Kanavi has had the ticket every single game so far. Now Peanut finally showing himself a little bit more on this kid.
And getting control now of this mid lane for Peanut. He's going to push this out and then teeter back over towards this dragon that's spawned in 20 seconds. JDG not in a position to fight right now, especially Zoom mismanaging his Gnar bar. He's just gone exhausted. You want this Mega Gnar form for this fight.
5 seconds until the Drake spawns. JDG, this isn't sold. They could sacrifice just this one Drake before it's last chance saloon for them. They are going to still try and contest here. Bear in mind, Zoomed probably not exhausted anymore. It'll be just about timing out, so he can start to build that rage once again. And if you can get Mega Gnar, you can win the fight, but LGD, they're just going to start the Drake off JDG. They've backed away from this play. They realize this is not something they can go for.
I love LGD's call here, though. You can see them pinging towards that Baron area. This is something JDG have been super consistent at, and really strong late-game shot calling is towards that Baron, sneaking it away from multiple teams, most recently against OMG, and LGD are very aware they don't want to give that over.
Yeah, the only slight sideways point on that one is with a Jhin and a Galio, the speed at which they could sneak a Baron is not that impressive from the side of JDG right now.
It's not, but respect given where respect is due. And I like that, at least from LGD. They've done their research, and you can see they're very aware of, okay, we have this lead. Let's not give any angle for JDG to get back into it. Let's play through these side lanes, have Xie push his advantage, Longxing with the Blade of the Rune King push his advantage against Zoom, and then we can try to pick off members with Xie's destiny.
And it feels fantastic to see LGD still keeping a calm head coming into the third game of this series, especially after the performance game number 2. Like, in a semi-final that holds this much weight, this is still such an important series for LGD. If they could make it to the finals, that would be the first time they make a finals in 5 years. And for them to hold on, keep their cool, and have a strong performance here coming into Game 3 means so much for LGD and for all their fans at home.
And even for the players themselves, Worlds is on the eyes for these guys. Even if they don't win here today, they will still go in towards the regional finals, or regional qualifiers even. And, I mean, you look at Longxing, Worlds 2019, Peanut and Xie both last attended Worlds in 2017, Kramer in 2018. All these guys will be looking to get back to that international stage and prove their worth once again.
And on the other side of the board, you've got JDG, who I've never been to Worlds, really. It's a surprising statistic, honestly, because they're across the board. We've got a few veterans of the LPL on JDG, but never managed to make it to that world stage. This is their opportunity to do exactly that. It's not looking good for them in game number 3, though, as LGD continue to extend the lead they have up towards 5,500 gold in their favor at this point. Peanut doing such a good job to set up Xie and get this mid laner ahead, who now has a Magi's.
JDG are pushing at these waves very effectively, though. You can see they're very slowly but surely encroaching in, waves in order, so it's not like they're able to get picked off without Yagao being able to answer or zoom with this TP. So right now, JDG are actually playing this slow enough that it's hard for LGD to try and find any sort of advantages. However, 2 minutes until that dragon, and that's where everything's going to crack open.
And it's so crucial to see where our carries are at by that point as well, because I just mentioned the Magi's that got picked up by Xie. He's got the rapid fire cannon as well, so if someone steps out of position, he is primed and ready to find a pick on that Twisted Fate. But importantly, when we look towards the AD carries here, you've got Kramer, who's heading back to base. I'm curious if he's going to be able to finish off that Death Stance and hit that 3-item power spike. Not quite for him. On the other side as well, Loken is close to the Infinity Edge.
We're very much at the point for JDG where if you actually step up to LGD, you better be ready to fight. Not only that rapid fire cannon, but the Iceborne Gauntlet procs coming through from Kramer, the ability for Longxing with this Blade of the Rune King to close the gap as well. JDG, if they even sniff at LGD, are going to fight, so they have to be coordinated. They have to be on the same page when they get towards this river area.
Now, we've got about 1 minute and 20 seconds until this next Drake, and that is very likely the next point where we have a huge fight. So I want to tell you a quick story, Dagda. That's about a mid laner from Europe called Caps. Now, back in 2019 in spring, Caps had a dream. And that dream was that he was going to face JDG at MSI, that they were going to make a miracle run. And they almost did. They fell in the finals. But coming into this playoffs, it was LGD that watched from the sidelines while JDG made that run. And Mark said in an interview that his goal for playoffs was to be the 2019 JDG of this playoffs, and so far the miracle run has looked magnificent for them. They took down WE, they took down IG, and to be the JDG of this playoffs, they now have to beat JDG in this playoffs.
And the way they do that is with this dragon. Late recalls coming in though, Yagao nearly catching Kramer with that Hextech Proto Belt. However, that late recall gives JDG control of River, which is what LGD so desperately needed.
They really want this Drake for themselves, and Ocean Soul would all but finish this one off in favor of LGD. JDG are the ones that have priority right now. They have control of the area. Kanavi moving in. Dragon spawning in 8 seconds, and LGD know it. They've got to make their way into the situation, try and get some vision down.
And you can see Longxing getting himself set up on this flank position. Yagao is going to spot it out though as LGD encroach.
This could be everything. Keep your eyes on Loken. He has to try and survive. He is the damage on the side of JDG. Xie's Destiny has now timed out though, so he doesn't have a way to get in on the flank. It's all down to Longxing to be the front line of Mark to try and find an engage. JDG to start off the Dragon though. They don't want a 50-50 this one. This would be sold for LGD. JDG reset the Dragon, they move into the pit, they take this one, but a knock up onto Luma. In goes Zoom with the Nara ulti, in comes Galio to slam from the skies. The stopwatch just do work though for LGD as they survive the play. Longxing in the middle of everyone, cuts them down, but he's alone now. As you see Yagao going way too deep in the back of LGD, it's going to be 2 for 1. But it's going to most importantly be the Dragon for JDG.
Look at Xie though, he's cutting them off. JDG are in a trap.
Gold card is prime. Peanut trying to chase these kills down. Kanavi, the target. Zoom is eliminated. What a true shot barrage. The stopwatch comes out from Kanavi, but he knows he's done for on this. What? Kanavi
You may take one game from JDG, but you will not take the life of Kanavi. Kanavi still showing Peanut that I'm in control here. LGD, though, will find the fight, but with no jungler, they can't take any objectives.
And you saw Peanut, he thought he had that one. No one from the team came over. He was stood on the stopwatch Kanavi, feeling he had it. But what a turnaround from the JDG jungler.
This from Kramer. The arcane shift over the wall saves this fight. Kramer not getting caught there means he's able to consistently get this DPS off. Xie as well with the reposition over the wall. And from that point, Longxing is just tearing through Loken. So LGD as a whole able to get this team fight win. But as you said, when we get to the end here, the double oceans paying dividends for Kanavi. As he goes golden, his health bar is continuously ticking up. And he's just about enough health to deal with Peanut.
Everybody backs away. Peanut takes a tower shot, and then Kanavi finishes him with the Sonic Wave. That Conqueror coming in clutch for Kanavi there.
So big. And now, because LGD... Oh, hang on, Kanavi. Maybe fine. Because LGD weren't able to get this Baron, this is where we get to see another fight. However, JDG are not looking as strong this time around, especially with all that gold that has just gone into LGD's hands.
And I want to just quickly revisit this jungle matchup that we're seeing, because Peanut is doing a much, much better job in this game than we saw from him for the rest of the series. Yagao should be able to get out with his life here. The Glacier Fish is getting a knock-up, though. He's still full HP as he gets underneath the tower. The rest of the team is here. He's going to be all right on this one. Root comes out from Loken. They're going to keep the tier 2 alive for now, but one auto will finish that one off. LGD find themselves that one. Now pushing in the mid lane as well. I don't have time to talk about the jungle matchup here, Dagda, because Peanut is going to take this tier 2. And LGD, they are looking to snowball. They are looking to finish this one off.
Nice job from LGD to shove back Yagao. The issue obviously was that minion wave coming up. It meant that Mark couldn't quite land those bites through the waves, and they're not able to get the kill. Either way though, they get the 2 towers. Now they can push these waves in that little bit further, and if they can keep these waves in a position where JDG can't push them back, that 2 minutes towards Dragon, LGD fall back, take that soul, and then return to the field.
2 minutes on the Drake, and that is what is on the line right now. JDG, they could do with another Ocean Drake. And let's bear in mind, if JDG were able to get this soul with 4 Ocean Drakes, this is a totally different game. Even though they are 9,000 gold down right now, that kind of objective can really turn things around. Let's bear in mind, Loken has hit the point now where this Jhin is going to hit like a train.
Especially since we don't have any super tanks on LGD side like we saw in 2 games prior for Zoom's Ornn. This time around, he can work through Longxing, he can work through Xie, but picks are what we need to see from LGD.
Speaking of Xie, he's full build. With 31 minutes into the game right here, he's finished the death cap. His Magi is on 18 stacks. Xie is going to one-shot people if he can land a gold card. Moving into the mid lane here. Look at the death rush that is set up. Loken has the damage alongside Kanavi to finish anybody off.
Mark needs to be so careful though. 50 seconds, JDG hunting for a pick. They're going to see if they can instead turn towards Baron and trade this Baron for the Ocean Soul, but as LGD, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's worth it for JDG. Loken could be in trouble. Winter's Bite lands. Zoom is exhausted though. 40 seconds before this Ocean Drake. This is not the time to fight for JDG. They're just going to try and clear vision and reset once more.
Yeah, Gao is pushing in top lane as well. He's only just recalling. We'll be able to get here with this TP, so it's not like he's going to be great, but LGD shoving back JDG. This is what that wave control means.
Zoom's in trouble here. Slow comes out from the Rabadon, sorry. It's not a Rabadon's. Zoom will get out with his life, but only just here. He's about to go Mega, though. As Yagao happy to be the tank on the front line for now, but he has to turn golden to keep himself safe. Zoom about to turn into Meganar, jumps into the back line, hits 4 of them, and the CC chain is massive. In comes the Galio, and Kramer forced out of the fight, but he's turning around with the damage here. Xie is, it's Peanut that's going down. Now Kurt Call across the team as well, but LGD is still going strong. Keep your eyes on Xie, who just annihilates everybody. Double kill on the Twisted Fate.
Kramer is now chasing with Xie, but they back off. Xie zones Loken. They're going towards the Dragon. Peanut and Kanavi down. LGD secure the 4th.
Not going to be any smites in play on this one, except maybe Xie can find one from the spellbook, but maybe he just won't have to. Uncontested here as Zoom and Loken can't make their way over. This is going to be Ocean Soul now for LGD, and that might just be it.
Little bit of a scarier fight though for LGD. Very spread out. Shie separated. Kramer needing to reposition so that then he can actually avoid the likes of Zoom's damage. Either way though, they do find that victory. And you can see it here. Very spread out. LGD trying to dive on towards Zoom. Leaves their backline exposed as Lumao comes in. Yagao with that TP gets on towards Shie. But from that point forward, Shie is actually in a reasonably okay spot where he's just free firing across the board. Kanavi's not able to do anything, and Kramer, already having that early QSS, can just shrug off that CC from Zoom and carry this fight.
And it was so damn close. They almost got onto Kramer, and maybe if they can close that gap, something changes. But LGD find themselves the win. Shie and Kramer kiting around, and you can see the damage out of these carries really topping the tables.
And the thing here is now LGD's ability to juggle this Baron aggro is so much more potent, although they may just be looking for the pick here.
They're going to go towards the top side here. Yagao the target. Just his punch available to try and escape, but a TP and a Zoom to join in on the play. He's not going to be Mega Gnar though, as Lumao tries to get over the wall, but he'll be stunned up, and he will be taken down. First kill goes the way of Kramer, and LGD want more. I don't know if they can dive an inhib right now though.
JDG showing that they can bleed though. LGD will start to make their way back over towards this Baron. Yagao will be able to come in with the ultimate, but it will more than likely come down to a 50-50. So LGD need to see if they can pick off Kanavi before that happens.
They're going to move straight on towards this Baron. LGD with Ocean Soul. Zoom trying to move in onto the play here, but it's Kanavi that is found. They don't overcommit to trying to kill the jungler though. JDG just toying with the idea, maybe can stop this Baron, but LGD keep things going. They're not actually looking for the fight. They're looking for the objective. True Shot Barrage just to scout everyone out. This should go down in favor of LGD. Kanavi backs away, and another objective in favor of our blue team.
And it feels like LGD have found their stride. Early game goes the way of Peanut and Shie with plays towards Longxing in the top. And again, this playoff snowball that LGD have just found for themselves is taking over once again against JDG.
And when we look towards the mid lane, it tells a real tale of who is winning out in this matchup, because Shie, 9-2-6, is miles away ahead of this one. He's got 25 stacks on his Magi's. Yagao, he's been playing reactively all game, but he's not really been able to have that much of an impact. 2-4-4 in this one. It just doesn't feel like this Galio pick has worked out at all.
No, Shie did a far better job of punishing in lane, able to force Yagao out twice in the early stages, meant that he had full control, and now a 25 stack Magi's, and they found Kanavi.
That ain't it, Kanavi has to safeguard over the wall. That was not worth fighting for Wolves right there, not worth dying for the Wolves. 3 minutes until this Elder Dragon spawns though, so they won't lose anything in terms of neutrals. Now onto the tower go LGD. The siege begins, and you saw the Lich Bane damage on the tower.
Yeah, Rabadons will make a nice little buff to that Lich Bane proc, and already you can see that tower going down. Longxing putting pressure mid. One more auto like that from Shie, and this bot lane tower falls.
They're going to be able to finish off at very least one tower here. They've still got a minute and a half on the Baron. There is no rush for LGD. They can do this all day long. First inhib will fall. In the meantime, Longxing sets up the wave in the mid lane. Peanut's been caught though. That's a Gnar ulti for Chaos to keep him safe. Now they jump straight onto Zoom. He's tanky, but he ain't tanky enough. Now they found a pick onto Kramer, who flashes out of the play. JDG just can't find anything on this one. Lamb's Respite to keep the AD carry safe. And now the siege continues once more in the mid lane, but they might not stop Dagda.
4 versus 5, they aren't going to stop the hook from Lumao.
Here we go. Galio slams into the play. They're trying to finish this one off, and they might just be able to do so. Down goes Kanavi, down goes Yagao, and down goes the whole of JDG as LGD find themselves a win in this series and find themselves a lifeline. Diving the fountain is Shie as LGD grab game 3.
LGD will pick up their first victory in this series after a far better early game